My name is Mason, and this is your February 2025 Tucson real estate market update. In this video, we're looking back at how January performed, and we're only looking at homes and zip codes in the Tucson area. So if your zip code starts with 857, then this applies to you. We're also only looking at single-family homes and their performance, which means we're not looking at land, townhomes, mobile homes, or manufactured homes. Again, and no condos as well. This is only for single-family homes. Now, to catch you up briefly on where Tucson has been, the best way to explain it is that when we should have seen times where homes and numbers were down, they were actually surprisingly up. And normally when we're looking at times of the year where homes are up, they've kind of been down. So it's been a very odd past, let's call it 6 months, past 2 quarters. But now that we're past the holidays, past the election, and past the new year, stepping into 2025, January has shown some interesting numbers, and I'll explain all of them in this video. Let's just start with year-over-year average price increase. From 2023 to 2024, home values, the average home value for a single-family home in Tucson, jumped 5.5%. Again, over 12 months, 23 to 24, we saw a 5.5% increase. That's a phenomenal return. But now we look at 24 to 25, and it was only a 0.5%, 0.5% increase. Now, that tells me that Tucson has really leveled out, and that we're coming into calmer waters. So gone are, from what I can see, in my opinion, the ups, the downs, and we should see a lot more steady waters moving forward into the late winter, early spring. Now, that's not to say we're not busy, because there's actually been a lot of sales recently, but you can expect the prices that you see with the roughly 7% market rate for interest rates that is currently standing here in February to keep things even keel. There's nothing on the horizon unless something happens in the world, but there's nothing on the horizon that points to any significant change up or down. Tucson, from what I can see, has really found its footing and is really steady as she goes, especially after seeing January's numbers. It was very refreshing to see some stability. If we look at total sales in January and compare them to the last couple years, then we're very much on par with how previous years have performed at the start of a new year. Now, ultimately, there were maybe 20 to 30 less sales from previous years, but that's plenty fine because rates have been historically higher. It's been an election year, so I'm not shocked by that, but I was happy to see that we are back into our seasonal norm of how many homes are selling for the month of January once we cross into the new year. The noticeable price bracket that has some of the most inventory, but also the most amount of sales, are homes listed from $300,000 to $400,000. They have almost double the amount of sales than any other price points to their left and right. And if you're in that price point, whether you're a buyer or a seller, it's probably going to be busy. And I'd be curious to see how that has been for you if you're in that price point of $300,000 to $400,000. Looking into the luxury market and how they're performing, one of the most well-performed price points is going to be homes that are $1.4 million and above. There's a lot of inventory at that price point. However, it seems that these homes move rather quickly, and I'm sure there's a reason because they're big, beautiful homes, but $1.4 million and above has been doing very well in Tucson. Lastly, before I get into the numbers, one of the most striking categories that I saw in this January was how many homes hit the market. There were so many homes that were listed and put on the market in January over those 30 days, which showed me there were so many sellers on the sidelines just waiting to put their home up for sale in the past couple months. Well, come January, the floodgates were open and there were a significant amount of homes listed. But what we're not seeing is a matching pending number, which means all those homes hit the market. Not all of them have sold, which is fine because it might take a little bit longer as the market is slow. But if that pace continues to where a flood of homes are hitting the market and not enough pending transactions are occurring, we might see an influx of inventory to where there's saturation in inventory. It becomes more of a buyer favor market, and sellers are taking forever and having to slash prices in order to get their homes sold. Ultimately, it does help having that rush of inventory hit the market, stepping into the new year. Now that this winter we're in is here and there's 70 and 80 degree days, hopefully the market performs well and sellers are seeing good activity on their homes. All right, so let's get into the nerdy part of things. Let's look at the numbers for how Tucson single-family homes performed in the month of January. Total sales came in at 446. This is down almost 9%, 8.6% from the same time last year. So again, just a slightly slower market. The average sale price came in at $458,000. This is up 0.5% from the same time last year in 2024. The median sales price is also up 0.5% from last year at $372,000. The average days on market is 50 days, and this is 11 days slower than last year. So this is what I mean by the market is slowing down. We're seeing more homes hit the market, but they're taking longer to sell. So the average days on market for a home to sell, let's just round up a little bit, call it 2 months on average. And the median days on market is 28 days. Again, this is also 3 days slower from the same time last year till today. Your average price per square foot came in at $236 a square foot. This is up 0.1%. And the percent of list price received, this is how much a seller gets in their pocket from their list price versus what they actually sold the home for, what they closed for. And that is negative 2.15%. So on average, a seller is losing about 2% on the sale of their home for what they initially list it for versus what they actually close on the home for. Honestly, not a huge swing of the needle. 2% doesn't bother me a whole lot. Again, it does depend on what part of town you're in. Some sellers are performing better, but overall, your sales price less 2% is about what you're walking away with. Now, this next one is interesting, but it goes over the price drops and how many price drops on average we're seeing. So of the 446 homes that sold last month, 163 of those did have price drops. And the average price drop was 5.8%, so almost a 6% price drop. So whether your home was on the market for 30, 60, 90, 200 days, on average, sellers were dropping it about 6%. Now let's look at how zip codes performed and how they did throughout all of Tucson. And with the most amount of sales coming in at first place was 85756 at 33 total sales for January, 85747 on the east side at 29 sales, and 85730 at 23 total sales, coming in third place. The highest or most expensive zip code in Tucson for the month of January was 85718 in the Foothills, and their median price was $1.25 million. Second place came in at 85750 at $862,000, and coming in at third place over in Oro Valley was 85755 at $860,000. The lowest median priced homes or the most affordable homes are coming in first place, 85714 at $215,000, 85713 at $262,000, and third place, 85705 at $280,000. Again, this is all for single family homes, and this is the median price point. Lastly, looking at the slowest days on market, and you can also pair this with the most amount of homes or the most amount of inventory for sale. They go hand in hand. So coming in at first place for the slowest time for a home to sell is 85756 at 68 days on market, 85737 at 44 days on market, and 85730 at 41 days on market. This last one is important because if you live in these zip codes or any other zip code, it is important to look at, on average, how long it takes a home to sell. Make sure you're priced right, make sure you're putting your best foot forward when it comes to media and marketing and presentation, and it gives you a general idea of what you can expect for a timeline and how your home should perform based off the area. I don't have a ton to add this week when it comes to the market report, but really it was refreshing and somewhat shocking to see such an even balance in January's numbers. I don't know where this will take us throughout the rest of the year. Again, rates are sitting at about 7% as of today being February 7th. There has been some good talk and some good headlines of rates coming down, some relief in the rates. Some of the reports are coming back when it comes to the job report in somewhat of a positive sense, and there was a little bit of a rally in rates this past week that we saw. Again, housing rates, that is. Ultimately, with the warmer weather, with the winter being over, people are done traveling and spending on holidays, the new year here, and the elections are over, we usually see a pretty good surge during the springtime. Even aside from all those events that happen in 2024, Tucson historically always sees an uptick in activity come springtime. So whether you're a buyer or a seller, prepare for a busier market within the next few months. But again, whether we'll have significant swings up or down, that's to be determined. Personally, I think we might have a good swing up. Again, nothing crazy like we saw in past years, but just a healthy, resilient market that is on the horizon, my opinion, here in Tucson and Pima County. Thank you guys for watching. If you want me to explore any other zip codes or any other parts of town, or you're just kind of curious about the market, I'd be happy to help. Thank you guys. Please remember to like and subscribe to my channel. Got a lot more videos coming about community and market reports, and I'll see you in the next video.